Well, one party with that mass, this next party that generally loses control of Congress, especially the House, sometimes the Senate, sometimes both, during the midterms for that presidential administration. So since in November it will be Trump's 2 years through Trump's second term, that it would be a good election for Democrats. So as you can see here, Democrats are at 226 seats to Republicans 204. Democrats could afford to hold the majority while still losing all of the toss up, all of the tilt blue seats, and even one of the seats in the lean blue column. And I think that this scenario, a lot of the partisan mid-decade redistricting that really started off with Texas, as you can see here in the major metropolitan areas around Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, and Houston. There are quite a few districts in the likely red column, or a few, interestingly enough, in the lean red. These districts were Republican seats. They first started out implemented this map that added 5 more seats for the Republicans, and that put Republicans with the upper edge. And then it was counteracted by California's Prop 10, which resulted in 5 seats moving from Republican to safe Democrat. Interestingly enough, though, the majority, and this is primarily because now it's just a better year for Democrats than Republicans, but all of the California seats that were aimed at combating the gerrymander there in Texas are generally in the safe column. Might be one or two. It's primarily the districts there in the northern part of California. For the districts in Texas, however, the majority of those districts are in the likely red column. So I think it would be particularly interesting to see if any of these districts that were drawn to be made for Republicans end up actually going to Democrat or possibly even a bigger margin. I think it's a possibility. I think the most likely situation is that the districts that were drawn to be Republican will remain conservative and Republican, but it will be interesting to see what the margin ends up being based on the redistricting that has been going on. There's also been a couple other examples of redistricting. Virginia attempted it, but it was struck down by the courts. So that map that is currently showing on the screen will remain in place for these midterms. And then Democrats did get a little bit of good, bright hope in the congressional gerrymander that Republicans had in place was overthrown by the courts, and a judge ruled that this map had to be put in place, which gave one seat from safe to safe blue in the Salt Lake area. So that is going to be an interesting example there. Very few competitive seats, though. As you can see here, only 5 are in the true toss-up, which is very interesting. Generally, there aren't a ton of competitive seats, but just with all the partisan gerrymandering, and really both parties are guilty of it, and it has been more advantageous for Republicans, especially with the strike down of the voter approved maps. But that was kind of Democrats' hope at balancing things out, but it did not work out for them. But this is going to be an interesting election, and definitely predict Democrats will hold the House or win back the House. I think 226 is where margin will be, but really Democrats don't have to do a whole lot in order to secure the control of the House. It is already very close. We can take a look at if it will load, the current U.S. Congress for the House of Representatives gives an idea of which way the country at large. So that brings Republicans to 218 seats, just the narrowest possible amount of seats to control the House of Representatives. Democrats 212. There are a couple vacancies here that have brought that number down for Democrats, but Republicans cannot afford to lose a single other vote it could possibly be. So this will be interesting for the rest of the Trump administration until the midterms. And I think at the midterms, the House will go back to the Democrats. Don't forget to like and subscribe.